Well, good morning, everyone. Yeah, come on in. I'm State Representative Dan Brady, Minority Spokesman on Appropriations Higher Education for the House Republicans. I'm joined by Representative Chad Hayes this morning from the House Republicans, Representative Noreen Hammond, Representative Bob Pritchard, and Senator Chapin Rose, and obviously everyone knows Governor Rauner. So without any further ado, over the last several weeks, plans through the legislative process have intensified to provide an operating budget for our state universities, our community colleges, and MAP funding. It's about providing the governor and other leaders with resources and tools in which we can move forward for our students and schools. One such tool is what Governor Rauner is introducing today in the way of procurement changes through legislation. During the 2015 budget hearings, Governor Rauner asked minority spokesmen such as myself and my colleagues who joined me here today on the Higher Education Committee what procedural changes could be made to procurement laws and procedures that could cut the red tape, reduce the time it takes to order and receive goods and services, thus providing revenue and savings elsewhere that could be used, in particular, in our case, in higher education budgets. From all of our 9 state university presidents and their testimony through those hearings, such changes would help them substantially. So, in our opinion, our state universities are at a crisis point. In fact, they've crossed the crisis point, and they're looking for help, a lifeline. This type of procurement legislation that will be outlined here today is a type of significant lifeline that could help those universities and community colleges across the state of Illinois. With that, I believe Senator Chapin Rose is next.
Thank you, Representative Brady. Chapin Rose, 51st Senate District. I'm the minority spokesman on the Senate side for the committee that contains the appropriations for the higher education budgets. I want to first of all thank Governor Rauner and my colleagues for taking this up. All last year, as we sat through hearing after hearing, university after university, we talked about what this procurement bill costs, what it costs them on a day-to-day basis, what it costs them on an annualized basis. I'm going to give you 2 examples, and this is not chump change. The former president of the University of Illinois, Bob Easter, said that it could be upwards of $70 million on an annualized basis. I'm on the Commission for Government Forecasting and Accountability, and I transcribed an interchange I had with the procurement officer and the state's chief procurement officer in charge of handling a $3 billion prescription drug contract. It was a multi-year contract that added up to just shy of $3 billion over the life of the contract. The first round of bidders were thrown out. They were all thrown out under the state procurement code. The first round bidders were Catamaran, Caremark, and Express Scripts. These are national companies with entire phalanxes of lawyers and regulatory compliance specialists, yet they couldn't figure out how to bid this contract under the Illinois procurement code. So they had to rebid it, go back out to bid. The second bid, 2 of them made it, but 1 got kicked out. So here's the exchange. I asked the chief procurement officer, Mr. Brown, I said, so are we sure that we got the best deal for the taxpayers? Are we sure we got the best deal for the taxpayers? Quote, absolutely, we don't know. Absolutely, we don't know. This is a $3 billion contract. That's insane. You talk about the governor's speech the other day. He put a price tag on it of $500 million in savings if we simply fix this one piece. Those of us in higher ed world would like to see this come back around to fund our universities. It's a common sense approach that everybody should get behind. The universities have been demanding it for years now, absolutely demanding it for years now. But I mean, $500 million a year, that's an amazing figure. And with that, I'd ask the governor to come on up, and we appreciate your support.
Thanks. Good morning, everybody. Thanks again for joining us this morning. This is an important step in our process to transform the government, make sure it's efficient, effective, providing real value for taxpayers, and providing better quality services to the people of Illinois. Procurement has been one of the largest sources of waste and abuse in our state. It's frustrating the level of incompetence and inefficiency in the system, and we really need to change this. as quickly as we possibly can. We believe if we do this right, we can save over $500 million a year while increasing the quality of the outcomes and the quality of the goods and services that we're purchasing on behalf of the people of the state. In procurement, we suffer from the same problem that we do in many other elements of government. We've got so many groups involved, organizations, commissions, boards, executives. When everybody's in charge, nobody's in charge. And we've got that in a lot of elements of our government. We have more units of government, as you guys know, you've heard from us for many months. We have more units of government than any state. Well, we've got more entities involved in procurement than any other state. 41 states only have one chief procurement officer. We've got 4. They set up their own rules, they set up their own regulations, they set up their own fiefdoms, and then we've also got a procurement policy board. They also set up rules, regulations, policies. They have the ability to void contracts. We've got everybody involved. And Governor Blagojevich set up, what did he call it, an executive ethics commission. That did a heck of a job for him, didn't it? And that picks the chief procurement officers. And it's a convoluted system where nobody's in charge. We want to streamline the process. We want the governor to be in charge of procurement so we can drive down the cost. And what we're saying is, let's get the auditor general. We've always had, or as far as I can tell, we've had good auditor generals who do their job as independent protectors of the taxpayers and the people of the state. Let's have the Auditor General be in charge of auditing and require the Auditor. Historically in Illinois, the Auditor General has never really focused on procurement or procurement abuses. Let's have the Auditor General be in charge of and require him or her every year going forward, every 2 years, do an audit of procurement, see if we're following the right practices, we're following the code as we should, and also give the Auditor General the ability to do spot audits anytime they want. Come in and check out any issue anytime to hold the process accountable and with independent responsibility. That's the core we're trying to do, streamline the bureaucracy and get the Auditor General checking and making sure we're doing what we're supposed to do instead of having dozens of people and organizations and entities involved in the process. We believe if we do this right, we can save over $500 million a year for the taxpayers of the state. Huge, huge benefit. And this is all part 2. Right now you're hearing a lot of pressure. Let's fund our MAP grants. Let's fund our universities. Let's fund more certain human services, all of which I, as a governor, would like to fund. We don't have the money today. And we haven't, frankly, had the money for a long time. We need reform to save taxpayer money that will allow us both to grow our economy because small business owners will have more confidence in our economy, but we'll also free up money from the bureaucracy so we can put it into our schools and our human services where it belongs, rather than in wasteful spending in the system. Now, what we've said is, look, let's get serious about this. Let's do it now. If we did procurement reform, then we'll have the money to fund our MAP grants. In fact, we'll have more than enough money to fund our MAP grants. And if we do procurement reform and we also get the Thompson Center sold, we'll have money. We can also fund our community colleges as well as our MAP grants. Let's get reforms done so we've got the money rather than only proposing bills to spend more when we're basically out of cash. I heard a report this morning. I believe the comptroller is going to issue a report. We've got well over $6 billion in unpaid bills, and we've only got about $250 million of cash. We are in a cash crunch, and we can't just keep, and right now the General Assembly keeps passing more spending bills. We have got to fix the structural problem, and that's what this legislation is about. We think procurement reform is one of the best bipartisan reforms we can do. Hopefully we can do it quickly, solve this problem. I'll also take a step further. I hope that President Cullerton will follow through. So far, I'm not sure why it's taken so long. There's some foot dragging going on our pension reform. I've said, look, the President's pension reform bill didn't go far enough. It doesn't save enough money, but it saves money. It can save $1 billion a year. That's material. Let's go ahead and do that. And I'll do 100% of what the President wants. I'll sign whatever language he wants. Let's get it done. There's more money we could put into our universities. There's more money we could put into our human services. But the President, I don't know, it's taken a while. I don't know why we should get serious about this. Let's act. Let's get reforms so we have the money so we can put it into our schools, our universities, our MAP grants, into our human services. That's what today's about.